The Gray Ghost! Talk about memorable. Tying Adam West into an episode where Batman himself fanboys out over his own childhood hero and inspiration was such a stroke of genius in the writing department. This one has all the elements that make it one of the best in the series. Great voice work, beautiful animation, a peek at Bruce's past, and the music. My goodness, the music. To me, the Gray Ghost theme is almost as memorable as Batman's theme. It really feels like it would fit in an old-time serial, but with a more modern cinematic twist. The whole score just feels like it belongs in a movie theater. It more often than not sounds like that anyway, but here especially. The setup for this episode is very clever. A bombing in Gotham mirrors an old installment of Bruce's favorite childhood show, The Gray Ghost. Since the perpetrator seems to be sticking to the episode's plot and Bruce struggles to remember the details, he ventures out to try and find a copy. The problem is, the original negatives were thought to have burned out of existence years ago, and the only man who may have any remaining footage is Simon Trent, the actor who played the Gray Ghost. Reluctant to get involved, Trent and Batman don't get along at first, but when the attacks continue, they begin working together to find out the identity of the real-life Mad Bomber. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not a fan of the 60s Batman show. I don't like it, never did, still don't. It's just not my thing. There are lighter interpretations of Batman that I am a fan of, like Batman the Brave and the Bold, but that old show, I'm just not into. Having said that, I always liked Adam West. His sometimes zany voice work and persona seemed to embrace his place in pop culture history years after that Batman show went off the air. He did have issues with typecasting for quite a while after playing the Caped Crusader though, and they used that as another aspect of his Simon Trent character in The Gray Ghost. I love how it looks like he was always proud to play the character until it basically destroyed his career. The sense of resentment he has for that role is palpable, and West is legit good voicing him. The novelty is great, but he really did pull off the more serious scenes.
I used to admire what the Gray Ghost stood for.
I'm not the Gray Ghost.
I can see that now.
The Gray Ghost is obviously a nod to the Shadow. A fantastic old pulp character, the Shadow was one of the inspirations for Batman. So you can see how layered this episode is with tributes to versions and influences that came before it. By the way, that '94 Shadow movie with Alec Baldwin and Tim Curry holds up. You should check it out. We learn more about Bruce's background in this episode as well. The scenes of him watching the Gray Ghost as a kid with his dad close by is the perfect reflection of a lot of our own experiences with this very program. And it doesn't even have to be this show specifically, but we can all relate to seeing our heroes on screen from a young age and who we share those experiences with. Whether it be parents, siblings, friends, those kinds of memories hold a special place for all of us. For Bruce, it was where he first learned what a hero could be, and he carried part of that inspiration all the way up through his days as Batman.
Bedtime right after Gray Ghost. Okay, Bruce?
That is indeed Kevin Conroy voicing Thomas Wayne. Bruce's father is tied to that memory of the Gray Ghost, and Batman makes sure to let Simon Trent know it.
As a kid, I used to watch you with my father. The Gray Ghost was my hero.
As you have probably figured out, this is one of my personal favorite episodes, but it's not perfect. Trent dressing up as the Gray Ghost to help Batman doesn't really make much sense. If they gave more of an excuse for it, like he was making some sort of appearance when he saw Batman in trouble, that would have been a little more believable. It's a nitpick, and it's great to have him in the suit, so I don't really count that against the episode. However, the reveal of the Mad Bomber isn't one of the show's better moments.
I love toys. It can carry a bomb. It can hold a city for ransom. It can earn millions. Millions for the little old toy collector. Me.
Bruce Timm voiced and was the model for Ted Dimer, a toy shop owner and memorabilia collector who was hard-pressed for cash. It's great that Timm was able to be involved in the series this way, but considering the quality of what came before, this was a lackluster payoff. They could have easily slotted Toyman in there, but with him being a Superman villain, they probably didn't want to cross that line just yet. Of all the single episodes of the show, I think Beware the Gray Ghost is perhaps the one that deserved a two-parter the most. Building up Trent and the Mad Bomber in the first episode and leading to a more satisfying conclusion would have possibly made this the very best story told across the whole series. But as is, it's still probably in my top 5. Do yourself a favor and take a look back at a piece of Batman history.